Hey, what's up everyone, it's me Compass, and today I'll be showing you all the training points that does not require to get any Zeke or Elois quest. Starting off, it's with Inyanga White Stripes. He gives these two quests that give training points. All you have to do is just fight a couple people. It's actually really easy, and a lot of people do not know about it. I really hate doing the Smith quests. You have to go gather around. Yes, it's kind of easy, but it does take a little bit. This is way quicker. Even if you're a Cosmic, you just insta-shot these bosses. Very simple and very easy. Now, Ogden Peak gives these three quests where you have to go talk to like Gordon Sumner, talk to some guy in Pet Pavilion, and then you could craft a tea set, which you do need some crafting levels for. I believe it's Adept Crafter. But very easy. It's really quick because the first two you just talk to people and you go buy stuff from the bazaar, and then it's super simple. So really easy, and I recommend all of you guys do it. So if you go to Avalon and the Abbey Road, go to this place right here. It's actually the library. A lot of people don't know this, that there's a librarian right here in Azteca. Basically, he gives this quest called the Art of Magic. It's just basically collecting a bunch of scrolls around, basically like a myth quest, but way quicker because it's almost the same areas. And then he literally gives you a quest where you go up here, right? Go collect a book, go fight some of these red-nosed goblins, come back and just talk to him, and he gives you another training point. It's actually nuts. There's also this one given by Zoltana, but it's very similar to the Zeke quests. Basically, you just gotta collect all these shadow orbs. Then she gives you another quest, which just gives you the training point, and ew, she is nasty. But yeah, this is just some easy things you can do, and they're way quicker than the Z quest because they're just small amounts, and Z quests you just gotta go all around, and yeah, they are pretty easy. But these ones that you're gonna do where you just fight and collect all that stuff, very simple, and they're very quick. They're way quicker than the Z quests. And of course, last but not least, I was not going to mention this, but I think it's worth mentioning because actually maybe some newer players do not know this, but basically every 5 levels you get 1 training point. So in 140 you get 28 training points starting from level 1. Now of course, spending your training point. For PvE, basically it's very like just specific stuff, because the first one you're actually gonna get is Feint, a death school spell where it puts a 70% trap on the opponent and a 30% trap on you. Very helpful. And that trap that does get put on you will not matter. The opponent you are facing will not kill you at these even lower or higher levels. At lower levels, they'll use something like Imp or Leprechaun, one of those 1 or 2 pip spells, right? Just to get that off. It won't do that much damage, but that 70% really comes in handy, and when you're fighting bosses, it's a breeze. Now, actually, you have to train some balanced spells. If you're a Myth, Death, or Life, you need to train Spirit Blade, Spirit Trap, Elemental Blade, and Elemental Trap. Reasoning why you have to train the elemental stuff is actually you don't really need Elemental Trap, but I recommend it. But reasoning is you actually will be buffing the Elemental School, Fire, or Storm if you are questing. Thing is, Myth does decent damage for sure, so Myth may or may not need it, but some dungeons you're gonna be needing to buff the Storm. Life, you are a support school. Yes, you do some decent damage, but Storm and Fire do a little bit more damage, and that little bit more damage does come in handy. So of course, use the Elemental Blades on the opponent. And Death, same reasoning. Your support school. But yeah, those are the spells you need. You can also get Reshuffle. Reshuffle is a very interesting card, and you definitely need it if you're a Life or a Death, because you're going to be jading or you're going to be supporting, and when you're doing these big bosses, these long fights, you're going to be needing this spell, but realistically, I would recommend you carry the TC reshuffles, because that's 3 pips, but you could train the main deck. Now, you actually need some auras. The auras you need to get Berserk, which is followed by this certain quest, which appears on the screen, and then you're going to train Frenzy. Frenzy is insane. Reasoning is it's a 40% outgoing. A lot of blades now are 35% damage, and even with a sharpen, they're now 45%. But that does take up 2 slots. And when you're farming and when you're doing some strats, you need to have a 7-card deck. So you don't, you pull everything, everything's fine, and you do not mess up the strat, and you're not completely relying on RNG to pull your stuff if it's 8 cards. So basically, it's better to carry Frenzy. You have an, it clears your slots, and a lot of strats require Frenzy, because, and especially the main one, King, Frenzy is way better. But yeah, it's a really nice spell to train, and a lot of attacking schools do need it, and even if you're a support school, I do recommend you get it if you're gonna solo. Now as for the higher ups, you do need Shadow Shrike in some scenarios. It's very specific. You don't really need it that much technically if you're at a support school, because the support schools get Shadow Sentinel, but you do need to train Shrike. I do recommend it. You'll have enough training points. Just train it. It'll be really helpful later on in some matches. But right now, you can live without it. But it's better if you train it. And especially if you're doing PvP, you'll need it. But we're just talking about PvE right now. And of course, the Astral spells. You gotta train up to Epic. Basically, it's really good. You need these damage enchants. They're very helpful. If you're soloing, damage enchants are very crucial. They are insanely helpful. They double some of your spells' damage. Nutty enough, right? They almost double. Like a Meteor Strike, it's almost doubled with an epic enchant. So you do need these spells. They're really helpful. One thing I do recommend is you don't really need the Aegis or Indemnity, but they are kind of helpful. If you are, but even as a life school, you don't really need Radical, but it's very helpful. Those two are very helpful. But some strats do require you to have Aegis or Indemnity, so I do recommend you get it. Sharpened Blade, very nice as well. Helps you quest. Same as Potent Trap, you can feint stack. It's actually kind of nice. There are some things people do train, and they have a good reasoning for, but it's better if you do not train them, like the Ice School. The Ice School gives you Tower Shield minus 50% on the opponent's damage. You do not need it. It's actually a waste of training points in my opinion, because if you use the TC Tower Shield, that's minus 55, and PvE, I rarely have to use a Tower Shield. I rarely have to use a debuff. Even on a support school, I do not use them. Even on like a Storm low level, I never used it. On a Ice, didn't really need it, because of course I'm on Ice. You don't need it on any school. If you're soloing, it makes sense, but or like soloing a big boss like that you normally need like a full team like Sat the Lilith or King Det makes sense, but you're normally not going to be doing that, so you don't really need it. And if you do want it, I recommend you carry the TC ones. They're minus 55. That 5% does come in clutch. There are also school-specific Astral stuff. Like, I did retrain this. It's called Virulence. You do not need it. I do not need it. It's kind of bad. I don't like it. Frenzy is so much better. And honestly, everyone should just train Frenzy instead of Virulence or any of the school-specific auras, because that gives you 15% more damage. It's actually nutty. So you really do not need these school-specific auras. And yeah, those are all the spells you really need for PvE. It's very quick. Honestly, you don't need too much for PvE. But hope this helps you. And yeah, guys, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.